limited interaction with them, I would say. But certainly a smile and a wave, and if they did come by, that kind of thing. But it was pretty limited.
Perhaps you could speak a little bit about the sanitation that you provided, and I would certainly think that the local population would be appreciative of that side of your mission.
You're talking about route sanitation?
Yes.
The local population, I don't think, felt one way or the other. I mean, it was certainly a specific to the military. You were grading roads or bulldozing dirt and brush and lighting things on fire, specking fields on fire, and you were basically removing conceal and cover for whether it was an IED or insurgents who were going to detonate an IED. So I don't think they felt one way or the other. I mean, and certainly if we were pushing dirt into their field, I don't think they appreciated it too much.
What measures were used to determine the success of your unit's mission?
Well, we had, you had, crater repair was one of the missions, and that would basically, an IED blows up on a road, there's a hole there, they would literally go out and take a picture of the hole.
When you say they, are you talking about
they being command, battalion. It showed up on our desk, so I'm not sure who did it. I thought it was funny. They drove all the way out there, took a picture of it, came back and gave it to you. But so, and you'd get 4 or 5 craters in the same stretch of road, whether it was Dover, Tampa, different roads. So you'd go out there, pull security, pour concrete, flatten it, wait for it to dry and come home. So one measure of how much you did was number of craters repaired. Route sanitation, you'd begin at point A and you would sanitize the route from A to B, measured in kilometers. So you sanitized X number of kilometers. So they measured it kilometers, craters, and then during the surge and towards the tail end, we started, building checkpoints. So number of checkpoints, or number of outposts, tangible projects for us that you could see.
When it came closer to your time, when your service would be up over there, and your replacements came in, what advice did you offer to the replacements, to the soldiers coming in?
Well, we were due to leave there in August because we got there in August. We were informed in April that we would be extended. So we were extended while we were there 3 months. So we certainly gave advice when they got there, but it was, it's a difficult time for guys to be really focused on, explaining things to people. I mean, it's kind of like a teacher at 3:30 or a parent right before bedtime. It felt like we were just like, you're out of patience with the heat. You're out of patience with being there, and you certainly, you do your best to kind of to show, and I think guys did. But when you first get there, I mean, you're listening to everything everybody says, and then by the end, you're just. So the advice we gave them was certainly, basic things. For us, maintenance was a big deal. Maintenance of vehicles, maintenance of weapons, things like that. The heavy equipment platoon, you have to have operational equipment to do anything. And so my basic thing to them personally was maintenance. It sounds really strange, but literally tires, brakes, oil. You have to do it and do it well.
So the transition of your replacements, would you say that was successful? Did you feel that they were prepared as best they could be under the circumstances when you were leaving? It
It could have been better. it can always be better. I mean, that's the easy answer. But do I think it was affected by? Yeah, I mean, I think that you're jaded, and you know, you try to boil it down to PowerPoint presentations and things like that. But I think we did a good job. But I certainly think it could have been better. Probably some of the best interaction was, you know, just watch us, just watch us and do it, and that's how you learn. But at the same time, you know, at that point in the deployment, you're probably doing things that, it's not cutting corners, but it's certainly moving fast, and no, don't worry about that. And so you don't want to give people the sense that you can just forget steps, you know?
In terms of sloppy.
Yeah.
Well, to conclude our interview, let's discuss your transition to civilian life.
Okay.
Could you describe the demobilization process?
You mean leaving Iraq? Well, it was fast, I'll tell you that. Probably the last, well, when the other unit got there, you know, 2 weeks. We started a couple of classes. One of the guys called them, you know, the Don't Beat Your Wife classes. You literally go in there and talk about, you know, things are going to be different when you get home. And they show you videos, and you know, it's generally funny videos because they're dramatizations, and you've been there for 14 months and showing your video, you know, so that was part of it, these classes. Real brief things, kind of check the block type activities. And then, you know, we were sent from Iraq to Kuwait, and in Kuwait we were probably there about, I don't know, 5-6 days, and then back to Fort Knox. And that sounds like a long period of time, but you go from Kuwait to Fort Knox, and it's not very long. You know, it takes about 8 hours to get, you know, 8-10 hours or something. You're already.
Were you apprehensive to return to civilian life, and were others in your unit, did they have the same reservations of any kind?
I wasn't apprehensive because I felt like that I had developed a plan where I knew where I didn't follow that plan because the plan was to go work, and I had a job, and but I had a clear and definitive direction. You know, my wife had just purchased a house for us, and so I knew where I was going when my feet came home. I do think there was a lot of guys, and a lot of the soldiers that I was there with, that were underneath me, were beginning their tours. So there wasn't a transition to civilian life because they were going to continue to be in the military. The guys that were, you know, getting out of the military, I think they were generally so excited about it they didn't express it to me, you know.
Describe the reception you received from your friends, family, community when you arrived home.
You know, overwhelming. Yeah, certainly.
Was it because they were appreciative? Was it because you had missed them? You had missed that daily grind of
yeah,
life?
Absolutely. I mean, I think, you know, that was it. Certainly for my wife. I mean, they you know, just missing you. Certainly pride in what you had done or been a part of, and just thankful Thanksgiving that you were home. Literally home safe and home sound, and I'm sure from them telling me they didn't spend many days not thinking about it.
I'm sure. And what challenges did reintegration present for you?
Well, for me personally, I don't know if it felt like a lot of, I guess, fluff. There's a lot of just kind of concern about things that didn't really matter.
You mean things that didn't matter here?
Yeah,
life,
to people here in
to
civilian life, you know, in day to day, when you common concerns and, you know, I don't know. It seems like a lot of people were caught up in things that, I don't know, like no one really talked about what was going on there, either in a